Every branch of the US military, aside from the Space Force, has its own special operations forces, each having their own niche that further strengthens the diversification of US SOCOM. While every SOF force has its own overlaps and similarities with one another, Navy Special Operations is one of a kind. There's Naval Special Warfare and Naval Special Operations. If you're wondering what the difference is, NSW happens to be the one that falls under US SOCOM. However, the other communities we will be covering today are still considered special operations when it comes to the Navy. Some of them fall under the Navy Expeditionary Combat Command, but that's a whole other story. Regardless, no one has a maritime focus like Navy SOF does. They seamlessly integrate into maritime objectives and have proved to be a lethal fighting force in a multitude of other areas. NSW NSO personnel range from SEALs, SWCS, SARCs, EOD, divers, and air rescue. We're going to go over each of these communities and highlight what they bring to the table in the world of SOF. This is Navy Special Operations. Let's kick things off with the legendary Navy SEALs. Do you notice something about all of these? They involve Navy SEALs. SEALs have built a global reputation for themselves. They're popular not only in the military, but throughout the entire world. SEALs have become a household name, and for good reason. They've led the way in several high-profile missions, such as Operation Neptune Spear, where they neutralized Osama bin Laden. SEALs are the heart of the NSW force. They're a multi-purpose combat force organized and trained to conduct a variety of special operations missions in all environments. SEALs conduct clandestine missions, infiltrating their objective areas by sea, air, and land, which is exactly what SEAL stands for. Their proven ability to operate across the full spectrum of conflict, coupled with their ability to provide real-time intelligence and eyes on target, offers an unmatched versatility in the battlefield while in the face of rapidly changing crises around the world. Their stealth and clandestine methods of operation allow them to conduct multiple missions against targets that larger forces cannot approach undetected. SEALs typically operate in small units during the execution of special operation missions to capture or eliminate high-level targets or to gather intelligence behind enemy lines. They can deploy by any means necessary in maritime settings, such as off carriers, submarines, and other various warships. Sea, air, and land is just a modest description of the environment SEALs can operate in. They can work in jungle, urban, Arctic, mountainous, and desert environments in pursuit of those intense missions. SEALs are just as comfortable fighting in the mountains of Afghanistan as they are operating a SEAL delivery vehicle in the cold waters of the Pacific. But let's get into the specific missions SEALs are responsible for carrying out. With how capable SEALs are, a lot is asked of them. They use direct action against enemies using raids, ambushes, and assaults to capture and neutralize adversaries. Not only that, they conduct reconnaissance and surveillance operations to collect data and information on the enemy, condition, and terrain. They conduct foreign internal defense by training allies and foreign forces to increase their ability to respond to threats. And they pursue counterterrorism by eliminating threats and conducting counterterrorism strikes and preemptive strikes. With just a few examples, you can start to see just how capable a Navy SEAL is. Their motto, "The only easy day was yesterday," showcases the ever-growing standards Navy SEALs hold themselves to both on and off the battlefield. With Navy SEALs covered, let's move on to Navy SWCS. Impressed yet? That's just a taste of what SWCS can do. Navy SWCS stands for Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewmen. Known as boat guys, these are the other elite warriors that make up Naval Special Warfare. However, many are not aware of their existence. They are a small, tight-knit community that likes to keep things under wraps. So what do these boat guys do? Brass tacks, they drive and provide small caliber gunfire support on specialized high-tech, high-speed, and low-profile surface combatant craft to secretly infiltrate and exfiltrate Navy SEALs on special operations missions worldwide. While their bread and butter is supporting SEALs in special operations missions, there's more to being a SWCS than that. They're the unsung heroes of naval special warfare, and play an important role to accomplish the mission at hand. SWCS are masters of the weapons and watercraft they operate with, allowing them to pack a powerful punch, all while being on a vessel that is small enough to operate in waters where large ships cannot go. Such vessels allow them to specialize in swift mobility, and by using their expertise in tactical driving and convoy operations, they play a key role in hot infiltration and exfiltration. They also conduct special reconnaissance, direct action through coastline are rivers ranging from strikes, captures, and ship takedowns by VBSS. For you military movie lovers, you saw a badass glimpse of what SWICs are capable of in the movie Act of Valor. Bottom line, SWICs spend most of their time on their boats. But don't think it's all about just shooting some badass guns. Boats of that stature need maintenance and repair. SWIC boats are multi-million-dollar machines, after all, with many high-tech and complicated systems. One such boat they use is the Mark I Combatant Craft Medium. The Mark I can hold a crew of 4, plus up to 19 SEALs, go over 50 knots, and has mounts that can arm it with multiple 50 caliber heavy machine guns, an M240, and Mark 19 40mm grenade launchers, all which allow for this. Navy SWICs are not to be messed with, and are probably the best Uber you can ever ask for if you find yourself needing their help out in an operation. Their motto, on time, on target, never quit, attests to what they stand for as a community. With Navy SWICs covered, let's move on to our next community, Navy SARCs. If you're here thinking that we're going to be talking about the Navy Sexual Assault Response Coordinators, you're in the wrong place. We're here to talk about Special Amphibious Reconnaissance Corpsmen. What are those, you ask? They're the Navy's badass Special Operations medics. But don't get caught calling them medics. They're corpsmen, not medics. Some of you watching this will get why. Navy SARCs are one of a kind, and have a unique place in Navy Special Operations. You'll see why in just a bit. Unlike the other communities in this video, SARC is not its own job, per se. SARCs are a specialty within the Hospital Corpsman rating that have received the requisite training to be an operator. If you're not familiar with what a Hospital Corpsman is, they're essentially the enlisted medical force of the Navy. What makes SARCs so unique is how versatile they are regarding the communities they work with. SARCs are Special Operations Combat Medics, meaning that wherever there is a need for their expertise in SOF, they'll be there. They mainly work with the Marine Corps, specifically Marine Recon and MARSOC. However, they also work with DevGru, otherwise known as SEAL Team 6, and have the ability to work at random billets wherever the Navy allows them to go. That means a SARC can do one billet with Recon Marines, go do another one at MARSOC, spend a few years as a schoolhouse instructor, and then go work at DevGru. No one else can really do that. You might be asking yourself, why do SARCs exist when Navy SEALs can become combat medics as well? Well, for starters, the Marine Corps doesn't have its own medical personnel, so since they're in the Department of the Navy, Hospital Corpsmen are embedded in their units. The same goes for their special operations. In addition, to help you better understand why SARCs are the most sought after when it comes to medicine, is that being a medical professional is their main job. For all intents and purposes, a SARC is a medical professional first, operator second, whereas a Navy SEAL medic is an operator first, medical professional second. But that's the great thing about being a SARC. While your main purpose is medicine, you're still trained up to speed with the rest of the boys and can be running and gunning just as much as they are. The SARC motto is, the difficult anytime, the impossible by appointment only, which exudes their confidence in special operations medicine. With Navy SARCs out of the way, let's move on to Navy EOD. Imagine someone who can kick down doors, jump, dive, and blow stuff up, all while rocking some hella good hair. That would be a Navy EOD technician. EOD stands for Explosive Ordnance Disposal. EOD is quite literally the bomb squad of the Navy, but they're much more capable than your average bomb squad at your local police department. EOD as a whole detect, locate, render safe, and dispose of explosive threats all over the world. These threats range from chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons, all the way to IEDs. Due to the nature of their duties, they have various types of equipment to help them get the job done. They have bomb suits, robots, high-tech gear, and loads of stuff to assist them. Sounds pretty cool, right? But EOD isn't unique to the Navy. There's also Army, Marines, and Air Force EOD. We tell you this because Navy EOD is arguably the best EOD to work in out of all of the branches. How so? Well, Navy EOD is treated differently. It's considered special operations. Other EODs don't really get the same perks and benefits to the level Navy EOD does. Not only that, Navy EOD is the only EOD that dives and deals with underwater explosives. While the Marine Corps EOD is starting to dip their toes in the EOD diving world, underwater explosives are what Navy EOD is known for. They're also the only EOD with jump school built into their pipeline. This allows for Navy EOD to be tasked with some pretty cool missions and can work with a variety of communities. As a versatile fighting force, Navy EOD embeds and works with a variety of SOF units. They're placed in SEAL teams, Army SF, DevGru, Rangers, you name it. While they're in those units for their expertise in explosives, don't think they sit around waiting for a bomb to defuse. Navy EOD personnel are expected to be up to par with the operators of the units they're embedded in, and often receive training to put them up to speed with the rest of the unit. Now that Navy EOD has been rendered safe, it's time to dive into the next community, pun 100% intended, Navy divers. Navy divers literally tell you what they do in their job title. They're divers who are in the Navy. But don't think that all they do is dive with the fishes for fun on any given 9 to 5. They dive with a purpose. There's much more to being a Navy diver than meets the eye. The Navy essentially runs military diving. Because of that, Navy divers are afforded the most funding and availability to work in all facets of diving. Because their area of operations are so varied, they can be required to utilize any type of diving equipment for use in any depth or temperature in any part of the world. These dives can range from short, shallow ones where they only go 25 feet deep, all the way to extreme depths for days or weeks at a time, known as saturation diving, where they have to decompress for several days before they can go back on land. Navy divers work in extreme conditions and do underwater tasks such as underwater ship repair, salvage operations, and assisting special operations forces. They are the foremost experts in all things diving, so they are sought after for their expertise and resources from other military diving communities, as well as civilian agencies. They're also constantly learning and discovering more about the science of diving, coming out with efficient diving advancements to make diving not only more safe, but more effective. On a final note for Navy divers, this is where the road separates between them and the first 4 communities we've covered thus far. While Navy divers are special operations in the Navy, don't expect to see combat as a Navy diver. They're more of a support role when it comes to other soft forces, and their mission does not include anything combat-oriented. That wraps up Navy divers. Let's move on to the next community, air rescue swimmers. Let's say you're chilling on a ship watching one of our videos, and you laugh so hard at one of our jokes that you go overboard. Who's going to save you? Air Rescue will. Navy aviation rescue swimmers are naval air crewmen who are part of one of the most elite helicopter emergency response teams in the world that are tasked to assist those needing rescue in the most treacherous conditions. They are ready to go into harm's way to complete the rescue missions in some of the most extreme environments imaginable. One day you could be aiding in the evacuation of families amidst a catastrophic storm. The next day you could be rescuing the crew of a ship off the coast. And then the following day saving a mountain climber hanging from an inaccessible cliff. But there's more to aviation rescue swimmers than just rescuing those who need to be saved. Since they're also air crewmen, when they're not performing rescues, they aid in the various functions the crew needs to get done. And, full disclosure, you'll come to find out that Navy aviation rescue swimmers can often do their entire contract without a single save. So don't go into this job thinking that's all you'll be doing. Having 0 saves is not a guarantee, and everyone's experience will vary. With that said, you can still have a cool, fulfilling job in this career field, and your time in air rescue will be what you make of it. In addition, the Navy's rescue swimmers are actually split into 2 jobs: Naval Air Crewman Helicopter, or AWS, and Naval Air Crewman Tactical Helicopter, or AWR. AWSs are known as Sierras, and AWRs are Romeos. While a lot of what they do overlaps, to put it simply, Sierra's primary jobs are SAR, VertRep, Medevac, and NSW support, and they also use crew-served weapons. Romeos do everything Sierras do, but on top of that, surface warfare, anti-submarine warfare, and electronic warfare. You won't know whether you're a Romeo or Sierra until you pass selection, so don't worry about it until that time comes. And with air rescue covered, you just learned about the 6 career fields of Navy Special Operations. If you're preparing for selection in any of these career fields and want a good deal on some great gear from a veteran-owned company, check out ATAC Fitness. You can get 10% off their Buds Essential Gear Pack, plus anything else in their store, if you use code General Discharge at checkout. The link to their website is in the description below. Go give it a look. And if you found this video interesting, we've done one like this on Air Force Special Operations. The link to that video will be in the description below. Well, that is the down and dirty of Navy Special Operations. If you learned something from this video, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to our channel. As always, thank you for watching. Do you even want to be here? A big shout out to all of our YouTube members and our patrons over at our Patreon. Thank you all so much for taking the extra step in supporting our channel. It is much appreciated. If you'd like to be featured on a General Discharge video, consider joining our membership with the link in the description or the join button to the left of the subscribe button, or go give our Patreon a look and join the team. Here's Nick Nausea.
All your friends are subscribing to General Discharge and you don't even want to be here.